In this video, you're going to learn how to twine on a picture frame without pegs or nails. Here's what you need: a picture frame, knitting needles, and some rubber bands. Since you don't have nails, you're going to tie the warp around the frame and sew it. You're going to be warping the picture frame in what's called a figure 8. You're going to bring the warp down in front of and then behind the bottom of the frame. Then you'll take it in front of the frame, over, behind, and down. You'll continue this way until you have finished warping your frame. I decided I wanted an even number of warps, so I ended at the top. I'll sew my loop here. Now I'm ready to attach my knitting needles. I'm going to hold them in place with some sturdy rubber bands. If you don't have rubber bands like this, don't worry. You can find some other way to attach your needles. You could possibly use string or wire or tape, something to hold them in place. Now I'm ready to start twining. I will not twine through the loop. That's not necessary. The knitting needle is my selvage rod, so I will treat it in the first warp as 1, just like normal. My next warp is in the back, so I grab it and twine around it. Now I twine the one in front, and the next warp is in back, and I twine around it. It's a little tricksy, but that's how it works. You'll want to notice that the weft is far away from the picture frame. I will not be pushing it up. Now that I'm on the other side, I'm going to turn the corner as normal. I will not twine through the loop. Once again, it's not necessary. When you twine the other end, make sure that you're starting on the first warp. Then you'll do just like you did on the other side. Treat the knitting needle and the first warp as 1, then continue twining. Remember to twine the warp in front, the warp in back, the warp in front, the warp in back, etc. You'll want to check to make sure that the warps from the top and the bottom line up. Now this piece is finished. Now I'm ready to take off the rubber bands and the knitting needles. Now it's time to cut the warp off of the frame. I'm cutting down the middle so that my pieces will be the same length. Now my warp on the top is free from the frame, and I'm ready to turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. Off the loom. Now I want to remove the little piece that was the loop, so I just cut the string and remove it. Now I'm ready to weave the ends into the piece. I'm going to go up through the back of the stitches and pull the warp down through the back. I might even give them a little tug just to make sure that they're in tight. And that's what it looks like on the top. I want to pull these warps all the way through, as far as they'll go, especially because they're kind of short. I'll continue doing that with all of the warps on both sides. This warp doesn't feel very snug, so I'm going to take a needle and thread and just tack it down to make sure it's snug. There you go, twining on a picture frame with no nails or pegs.